Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm here. I got it working. It looks good. I'm looking at my background. The lighting looks okay. So I hope you all come on in here and join me for this live stream about Never Heard. The movie Never Heard is streaming on Netflix, and it might be on a couple of other places right now too. But I'm going to go ahead and get started as I wait for people to come in. This movie was very serious. This movie was about people going to jail and single mothers and children trying to help raise their siblings and be responsible adults as children. And it was about prayer and faith and just unconditional love for your children and keeping them prayed up. It was a wonderful faith-based movie. And it's about these two young teenagers, Diggy and Jalen, who are best friends. Spoiler alert. Don't forget to say that. Spoiler alert. I'm going to be talking about the entire movie, which I really enjoyed. It's about these two best friends, Jalen and Diggy, and how they are living in this neighborhood where they feel like they have to sell drugs and be at the mercy of drug dealers and take care of their family. Well, Diggy feels like he has to take care of his family. His mother is on drugs really, really bad. And he takes care of his brother and his mother. He even brings his mother drugs home. And Jalen, I don't feel like Jalen really had to sell drugs. I don't know why he's doing it. It's almost like the streets just ate him up. Like the streets just approached him and he fell into that trap because this is something that his best friend was doing. So Jalen's mom, they have a nice home. It seems like it may be in a nice neighborhood, but maybe he has to walk through a bad neighborhood on his way to school, to and from school or something like that. Plus his friend is in that lifestyle. So while Jalen is selling weed, Diggy starts to get into more serious drug dealing, and it's mainly to help his family out and to support his little brother and make sure that his mom is taken care of. So they're going along in their lives, and they both are children of single mothers, and both of their fathers have either been to jail or are currently in jail. Now, Diggy's father, Diggy is the one who said that he never heard his father speak. So he was talking about it to Jalen when they were out playing basketball, saying that they were supposed to meet at the bus station, but he never showed up. So at this point in his life, he's never even heard his father speak. And then this whole scene was kind of like playing out during Diggy's last minutes. And Jalen's father is in jail. Jalen's father is played by David Banner. And I think that all of the acting in this movie was really excellent. It was just really good. And his father, Diggy's father, was never in the picture. Like he said, he never even heard his father speak. He lives with his mother. He takes care of them. Jalen is in a different type of situation where he does know his father, but he doesn't have a relationship with his father because his father is locked up. And his mother is played by Robin Givens. Romeo Miller plays Jalen. His mother is played by Robin Givens. She does a really good job at playing the mother figure and the single Black woman who is fairly successful in her own right. And she answers the phone when his father calls from jail, and she asks him, what is it that you want? It seems like you only call here when you want something. And he kind of got a little bit defensive, saying, I don't want anything. But before they got out the phone, he asked if when he gets out of jail, if he has a place to go. So he did really want something. And she even offered to have him speak to to Jalen on the phone. And he didn't say yes or no, excuse me, but his only response was, um, I think he said something like, tell him I said hello or something like that. But he really was only calling for something. Now, Aaron is played by David Banner. That's Romeo's or Jalen's father. He was raised in the church, and his mother, we're going to call her Granny. Granny raised Aaron in the church, so he is used to praying. He knows the Bible. So even though he is a gang leader and he's in jail, he still knows the Bible and he still knows the word. So he has that as his background. Plus, he has a praying mother. And Granny, she prays for everyone. She prays for Aaron. She prays for Jalen. She probably prays for everyone down at the church. She's the woman who played the prayer warrior in The War Room, the movie The War Room. And she's just a praying woman. And I think that's why the whole point is because of her faith and her prayers and the things that she kept preaching to them that helped them to get out of jail for Aaron and to help him to stay alive and to have good relationships with people for as far as Jalen is concerned. And I think that Jalen was protected by his grandmother's prayers when he went out to the creek with the creepy guy who his mom was dating, who was trying to touch him. I think that his grandmother's prayers carried him all the way through his entire life. I think that when he said that he felt weird when the guy was trying to touch on him, and it was his intuition, and he ran out of the water and ran through the woods, and the girls found him. When he was retelling that story to Paris, he even said it was like a miracle that the girls found me. Some girls who were camping in the woods happened to find him while he was wandering around in the woods, and he said it was like a miracle. And I think that miracle came from his grandmother's prayers. And I think that another miracle happened where he was able to save his own father from being shot because of his mother's prayers, his grandmother's prayers. Now, unfortunately, Diggy did get hit by that shot, but I think that it had to be a real movie, in that when you're in that type of life, there are going to be casualties. So even if someone is praying for you, even if you are an innocent child and you're doing this because you need to feed your family, I think that the whole point is that if you're in that lifestyle, your chances of becoming a casualty of that lifestyle vastly increases. And the guy who played the thug, Tone, that was played by Jackie Long. And I was so surprised. Jackie Long he's a comedian. He's a funny guy, but he played that role. Oh my gosh, he played that role to a T. I was scared. I was scared for Jalen. I was scared for Diggy. I was scared for myself. Jackie Long played that role. He's usually playing the funny guy. I think he was on The Real Husbands of Hollywood. I think that's where I've seen him. But there was none of that in this role. He was serious, straight face, I need my money type of personality and role in this movie. And he did a really great job at doing it. It was very believable. And then so what happened was, if you don't remember, Diggy owed Diggy was supposed to be selling drugs. He didn't, I guess he didn't give the drugs back. He didn't give the money back to Tone. So Tone was looking for him, sending him text messages and everything, talking about where's my money with a scared emoji and a gun pointing to the emoji's head. And he just threat after threat after threat. And every time he saw Diggy on the street, he gave him a couple of chances that we saw to get that money to him, but he was trying to take care of his family, so he didn't have the money. And finally, when Aaron got out of jail, Tone said, he killed my niece. The reason why Aaron ended up in jail is because he was at a crime scene, or he was close to a crime scene where a senior lady and a little girl got killed. I mean, and just like the lawyer said, it was a political case. They need somebody to be in jail for this. And he was the closest person to the crime scene when the police arrived on the scene. So that's why Aaron, Jalen's father, was in jail. So I can't remember what I was talking about. Anyway, Diggy, he was trying to help his family, so he didn't have the money. And Tone and his, I guess, like his goonie, his goon, the guy, the muscle, that's what we're gonna call him, the muscle, Dread. His name was Dread. The muscle guy was Dread. Dread was gonna kill Diggy because he didn't have his money. So it was just showing the realness, even though you're a sweet, innocent kid who's just trying to help out your family, it's just showing the realness of that type of lifestyle and how money talks over everything. And if you mess with somebody's money or their product, that may happen to, you may become a casualty. So Tone's proposal to Diggy was, look, either you give me my money, and you already said that you don't have it. So what I need you to do is kill your best friend. He told him straight up, your best friend, his father killed my niece. That's where I was going with it. Aaron's conviction while he was in jail was because they think that he killed this old lady and a little girl. The little girl was the hard drug dealer's niece. So he said, well, if you don't give me my money, you got to kill his son just like he killed my niece. That was a tough situation because he said, if you don't do it, I'm going to kill your mother and your brother, everything in his life, his whole world. Either you got to kill your own best friend, or I'm going to kill everyone else in your life. So that was the whole dilemma, and why he even mentioned that he never heard his father speak is because he's at such a young age and he's facing death within seconds. This is the whole monologue that he's speaking to himself as he's dying, as he's bleeding out, because the drug dealer Tone ended up shooting him. Overall, I thought this was a really great movie. I really enjoyed it. I've watched it a couple of times because I had, when I do the videos, I want to watch it a second time to take notes. And I even listened to it a little bit today just so I could refresh my memory because I was a week off. And I really like the scene with Diggy and Paris. God is love. God is love, and I can feel him all around us. God is love. That was so good. So Jalen came to the church with his mom. Jalen came to the church with his mom, and he heard someone playing the guitar and singing, and it was Paris. They had a nice little love story inside of all of this hardness as well. So he met Paris, his same age range, both high school students, and they ended up having a really strong connection. And at one point, Paris said, I think that God has a purpose and a plan for us. And I think it's so that we could have these conversations and forgive our fathers and learn to love our fathers. Now, her parental situation was her father was in her life, but he was too busy for her. And they brought up a good point about how on the outside looking in, no one would ever know that they had that type of strained, I need your attention relationship. Jalen mentioned, he said, wow, I thought you guys were the type of father, daughter who would get manis and petties and take long walks on the beaches together. And she just kind of laughed and said, no, I live with my father, but I don't really have him. He's too busy for me. And Jalen asked, well, you don't ever think about saying anything? And so she says she doesn't want to take him away from the people who need him. Now, the people who need him, she's talking about, he's a counselor, and he does prison counseling as well. And the two families connect because when he's doing counseling for the father, what is it called? The Better Father program in jail. Aaron, Jalen's father, is in the Better Father program. So they meet on that avenue, and then Monty, who is Paris's father, meets Jalen through his daughter. So they had a nice little circular connection happening that we see play out. And so, yeah, and Paris, her mother passed away. So at one point, Jalen's mom says, or no, she doesn't say it, but you can tell that she hasn't gotten over the fact that Aaron, her ex, went to jail. So she's kind of hard on her son because she doesn't want him to repeat that cycle. So she's a little hard on him. She lectures him whenever his father calls. She's like, you need to talk to your son because I don't want him to end up like his father, you. And then on the other side, you have Paris, who she has her father, but she has no mother. Her mother passed away. And her father, he's dealing with his own issue with his wife because she passed away. So he misses her so much that he can't even stand to be around his own daughter. And he finally admits that it's not that he's so busy, it's that the older she gets, the more she looks like and reminds him of his wife. And it just hurts him so bad, even just to be around his own daughter. And that came to light during the Better Fathers, like day one, the Better Fathers program. Aaron, Monty, who's Paris's dad, the counselor, he was asking everyone, okay, basically tell me your story. How did you get here? We're going to work on the relationship you have with your children so that when you get out, your relationship with your children is better. I'm going to help you become a better father. What he didn't realize was that as they were walking into the room, Aaron overheard him having a tiny little argument with his daughter, and she hung up on him. And so Aaron is sitting back saying, no, you tell us your story. It sounds like you don't even have time for your own child. So how are you going to tell us something? You're asking us all these questions. What about you and your relationship? And he did the same thing that any counselor would do. He takes the question off of him and puts it back onto the patient or the subject matter or the client. He said, this isn't about me. This is about you. And so Aaron says, well, I'm not answering any of your questions until you open up. You want us to open up? No, you open up. And I think in a regular counselor-client situation, him just pushing it back onto the client would have worked in a more professional one-on-one type of environment. But I think because he was in jail and he was talking to inmates, that they really needed to trust him. So in order for them to trust him, he needed to disclose some close and personal things about himself. So I think that him actually going ahead and opening up and saying, I do work a lot. I miss my wife. I can't really stand to be around my daughter because I miss her mom so much and she just reminds me of her and it hurts. That opened him up to be vulnerable. And then it also opened up the trust factor. And after that happened, it was all good. Aaron and the rest of the guys opened up. They had the Better Father program, and it was mentioned in the somewhere in the movie that this was the only time that the program has experienced 100% participation from the mothers and the children. And he gave credit to Aaron, saying that Aaron was a great leader and that the guys looked up to him. And a good point about that is, remember when the lawyer came, and the lawyer, what was his name? The lawyer's name was Manuel Jackson, played by Brian White. Manuel Jackson, the lawyer, he came into the picture to try to help Aaron get out of jail because Monty asked him to. He said, this guy is a gang leader and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, he has good leadership skills. You have to have good leadership skills if you're going to be a gang leader. And I think that's a very good point, is that there are a lot of people with really good qualities and skills that use them in a negative or bad way. Now, a lot of times if you're in a gang or something, it's because you don't have many other options. But then there are people who are scammers, people who call people on the phone and get their money, people who scam people in the parking lot, people who scam people in the grocery store, people who steal identities. All of those things are really good skills. You have to have good communication skills. You have to have good analytical skills. You have to have good people skills and leadership skills and IT skills if you're going to scam somebody out of their money, financial skills and different things like that. And people use those type of skills for bad instead of for good. So it was nice that they pointed out the fact that, yeah, he was a gang leader, but those leadership skills have now been used for good, because now he's one of the people responsible for being able to reunite male prisoners with their children and having their mothers get on board as well. And at the beginning, when they had their first meeting, one of the guys was like, my baby mama is not going to have that. She's the reason why I'm in here. But at the end, they had 100% participation. So that was a really nice way to kind of acknowledge that even though people may not have the most ideal situations, they still, if they have a certain skill, they can still end up using that skill for good, even if it starts out as something negative or bad. Speaking of which, I want to talk about how the criminal justice system and media work together to make people look so bad. I mean, I know, okay, if you have someone who's committed a terrible crime, it has to be reported in the media. It has to be reported. In this situation, though, they did an awesome job displaying how the media sensationalizes that type of situation. Because when they played that news story, this was awesome. If anybody paid attention to it, when they played that news story, they showed Aaron they showed him with his mugshot. They showed a bloody crime scene. They showed him posing with other gang members, and the other gang members had, their faces blocked out, censored, but you could see the bandanas, and they were holding big guns, and then they showed him off to the side like that. And then they kept calling him um, gang leader A Train. They referred to him as a gang leader. They referred to him or reminded you that he had a whole gang name, A Train. They showed these images of him with other gang members holding guns. They showed bloody crime scene. They showed the bullets on the ground, or the shell casings on the ground. They showed the yellow evidence numbers on the ground. This is while they're reporting this story about him already being locked up. So if there was anyone trying to get him out of jail, if anyone is watching the news, this is all they're going to see is these images. They also talked about how since he's been in jail, he's been in solitary this amount of times because of fighting inside prison. And then they showed a bloody prison cell. And what else? And then they showed him in his orange jumpsuit. So the only photos they had of him were his mugshot, his gang member picture, and him in his orange jumpsuit. And then they even had a scene where they showed the outside of the jail with the barbed wire up in the air. So this all sensational. It's all to put a certain image in your mind and to not let you ever forget that this man was convicted of this crime. Even if he gets off, we don't care. This is what we want you to know. He was a gang leader. His name was A Train. We don't even want you to know his real name for real. We want you to call him A Train, the gang member. We want you to see him in his mugshot with his orange jumpsuit and all these bloody crime scenes, bullets on the ground, and yellow evidence numbers. So I just thought that was, I like how they did that, because that's exactly how the media portrays people who they don't even really know if the person is guilty or innocent. And this man, he was in jail. Yes, he was convicted. Yes. But the entire time he was firm in saying that he did not do it. So they brought in Monty brought in this lawyer, and this lawyer said, listen, he brought me in. I'm going to look into it. I see some kind of shady things going on in your file, in your case. I'm going to look into it. He said, but I do not like to be embarrassed in court. So I need to know one thing. Did you do this? Are you 100% sure that you did not do this? And Aaron looked him right in the eye and said, I did not do this. I am 100% innocent, is what Aaron said. He said, okay, cool. I'm going to take on your case. He said, I ain't got no money, man. And Manuel Jackson said, did I ask you for any money? I'm doing this for free. And I think lawyers, they every year or so, they have to, or they can, or it's good for them to actually do pro bono work, which is work for free. So this would have been a good thing for him to do for free, because in the end, he actually did get him off and get him out of jail. Get him out of jail. Did you see the movie? Tea time, sissy. He actually did get him out of jail. Now, this is the funny thing. This is what I wanted to talk about the United States justice system. I don't know if they did this on purpose or what, because like they said, like Manuel Jackson said, the lawyer, he said that this is a political matter. An old lady and a little kid died. They need to bury somebody for this crime. He got him off. Spoiler alert. I hope you saw the movie. He got him off because a shoe print was left at the crime scene that was 2 sizes too small. Now, how did this not come up before? This man has been in jail for years. This never came up. You say, of course, this never came up. So, I mean, just like in the movie when we watched Juanita, how she was saying listen, my son was just in the car with those guys. They said that he knew that they were gang members, so he got arrested right along with them. He didn't even do anything. This is saying the same kind of thing. He was the closest person to the crime scene. They needed to bury somebody for this. They're going to call him A-Train, call him by his gang name, keep on telling people that he's a gang leader, show all these crazy pictures, and not do a serious investigation to see, like, the simplest thing that you could find in a crime scene, a bloody footprint with a tread on it. But the shoe tread was, girl, yes, two sizes too small. Now, how you gonna do my man like that? Did you watch it? Did you see the movie, Sissy? But I mean, that was crazy. I don't know if I hope that they did that on purpose, like saying that something so simple was ignored just to bury somebody for this crime. Hurry up and get him in jail, and then put all these images on the news about him. But Manuel Jackson came to the rescue and saved the day. Now, this is the other part that I didn't really get. Okay, so I said all the great stuff I liked about the movie. The acting was good. They had some good points about how things are when you have a single parent and young children and they don't know their fathers and different things like that. I really liked all of that. But I do have some criticisms about it. Well, I don't know. Is it legal or is it legal and is it advisable that Manuel Jackson told Monty about the evidence that he found before they went to court? Remember, they met in the bar, and Manuel Jackson and Monty were sitting at the bar, and he told him what he found. Is that advisable? I don't know if that's advisable, but I found that a little bit strange. Also, there were a few things in the movie that I was just like, I thought that they were going to go somewhere with these things, like it was going to come back up later, but it was never mentioned again. For example, at the beginning, they showed that Diggy was afraid of bees because he's allergic to bees. And they kind of made this, it was like a whole little scene about, oh, we in the hood and all these things we go through in the hood and you're afraid of bees. And he's like, bees can kill you, man. You know, I'm allergic to bees. I swell up and da-da-da. So I was kind of in the back of my mind thinking, oh, man, somebody going to trap him in a room with some bees. And we going to be like on the edge of our seat. Or maybe, oh, this guy Tone, the drug dealer, he going to lock him in the room with some bees to get his money. I was waiting for something to happen about those bees. And then the other thing, it was like so random. What was it? Oh, when Jalen told Shayla, his mom, how come you never say you love me? And she was just like, oh, you know, I love you. Just because I don't get into all that mushy stuff and I don't say it doesn't mean I don't love you. So for me, I thought that was going to come up later. It might have been a little corny if it came up later, but it was just a little scene that was just there. Like they just put it right there in the movie and it never happened. It came up again. I thought maybe something was going to happen. He was going to be on his deathbed. He was going to be leaving or something. And she was going to be like, I love you. You know, so I thought something was going to happen with them making the point that you never tell me, how come you never tell me you love me? And then the other, it was Christmas time in the movie, but nobody ever mentioned anything about it being Christmas. Did you notice that? They had Christmas decorations up in the house and the church was decorated. You probably didn't even notice that it was Christmas time because nobody said anything about it being Christmas. But they had all this background stuff that showed that it was Christmas time. But nobody ever mentioned that it was Christmas or Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever you want to say. So I don't know what that was. Why did they decorate with Christmas stuff if they weren't going to mention that it was Christmas time and they were in like California or something because it was warm outside. They had no coats on and all that stuff. So that was a little weird. And then Tara, you talking about Tara? She was a serious addict. Yes, she was. And Candy Burris, she played that role. I was so impressed. The acting was so good. The acting was excellent. She played that. I mean, sometimes when people play roles like that, you can kind of see where it look like they acting. You could tell that they don't really have the inside scoop about how addicts really move and operate and talk and things like that. No. She played that part to a T. She was so good in that role. Yeah, I think they won the West Coast too. She played that role, right? I mean, and they had the wardrobe. Her hair was looking crazy, and her lips was like chapped, and she had on like her funky old sweats in the house. They did a really good part getting her into that role and having the whole scene set up for her to look real terrible. Chris, hey. Yeah, she was tore up. She was tore up. But she did a nice job playing that role. And you can see I got on my little hoodie. And last week I had on my bandana too. I guess if y'all saw the movie, y'all saw that in a bunch of scenes, like 9 out of 10 scenes, Jalen was dressed like this. He had on a hoodie and a bandana. So I think that was a like paying homage to Trayvon Martin, you know, the whole hoodie thing. And so I wanted to just do that too. You said you wanted to snatch? Why you wanted to snatch? You wanted to snatch who? Tara, the drug addict? Don't snatch her. Yeah. She played that role really well. You wanted to snatch her up and comb her hair and stuff. But at the end, she was looking good. She did very well for herself after Diggy died. And remember when he was on his deathbed, he was saying, "I'm sorry I couldn't take care of you, Mama. And I'm sorry to my little brother that I'm not able to protect you from the streets." Well, when he died, that strengthened her. That gave her I guess because she no longer had him as a crutch. So she had to take care of herself, and she had to take care of Calvin, his little brother. So she got herself together. She got her hair combed, and she looked like she had a job and everything. They went to the jail, and they went to see Calvin's father at the jail. Wasn't that nice? Did y'all recognize him? The guy who played Calvin's father? It was the guy who played Biggie in Notorious. Did y'all remember that? I was like, oh, Biggie is his dad. So that was good. And then, I talked about that too. How he was out getting drugs for his mom, and not paying the drug dealers because he wasn't selling it. He was just taking it and giving it to his mom. But yeah, and then Calvin's father was in jail, but then the cycle of positivity continued because he got to meet his son. His son got to meet him. And then on the next scene, you saw that he was actually like the Bible study teacher or something. So people go to jail and they turn their lives around and everything. And sometimes, for the most part, I don't know for the most part, but sometimes they go to jail and they use that time wisely. And then you saw how Dredd, the muscle man, Tone's muscle guy who was going to kill Diggy, he was in jail in the Bible study class. So, I mean, that was just, I like how they showed how when you go to jail, all is not lost. You can still have something positive going on in your life if you so choose to do so. And it can be a good place to get in touch with who you are and who you need to be and find God. Yeah, Calvin was Tony Braxton's is Calvin is Tony Braxton's son. Diesel is his name. He in jail with his son, murderer. He's in jail. I don't think that's his father though. You said he in jail with his son's murderer, part 2. I like that, but I think they had 2 different fathers. I kind of feel like they don't have the same father. Candy husband. Yeah, I think that I don't know. I just assumed that wasn't his father. You think that? Why not? I don't know. So yeah, maybe that was Diggy's father, because he said that he went to jail. I mean, he said that he was supposed to meet him at the bus station, and he was like, that fool never showed up. I never even heard my father speak. So maybe why he never showed up is because he got locked up. You might be right. I don't know why. I assumed there was a whole different person. But yeah, you might be right. It seemed like he was plotting and praying on the Father. Oh, you think so? Part 2? You think it's a part 2 for that too? That's what you think? That Dredd was, but why? But why? Why would they do that? He already killed his son, or the Tone already killed his son. Why would they need to get at his father? He didn't even know his father. Why would he care? I don't know. That's the interesting thought, though. But I thought that Dredd looked humble. He was holding his Bible. He was holding his Bible and stuff like, oh, I done messed up now. I guess I better try to figure this thing out. But yeah, I thought, Granny, remember when Granny came to visit, you said part 2, you don't care what if stepdad revenge. Okay. Oh, you mean the father is plotting. Oh, okay. The father is plotting against Dredd. Y'all something else. Okay. I want to go. I want to go watch that scene again. Now I'm like, oh, the father. Oh wow. Because even he was holding his Bible though, y'all. He was like, we gotta use our time wisely while we're in here. He was holding his Bible. He looked so sincere. Okay, I didn't see that. Dang, I would have got because I didn't see that. But when Granny went to visit Aaron in jail, Aaron was like, I need to get out of here. I don't even need to be in here. And so she was like, no. You need to be in here. This is where you need to be to get away from all of that street life so you can get yourself together and you could take care of your son and do what you need to do. So Granny was even telling him, you need to be isolated so you can be away from all of that stuff and be there for your son. Yeah, I have to look at that again. So that's basically it. I was actually going to try to finish a little sooner than 1 hour today. So I'm done. Did y'all want to say anything about it? What did I talk about? I could do a little recap. So I basically talked about how, wait, I'm not done yet. Remember when we were talking about Juanita, the movie Juanita, and I was saying how Peaches was just asking Juanita all the questions, and Juanita was just telling all her business, but we didn't know anything about Peaches, except that she liked to ask questions and she's a good listener. And, I don't like friends like that where you just tell all your stuff, but they don't really give you anything. This movie was so good at showing how a real friendship works between Paris and Jalen, how they were both talking about their issues with their parents and their home life situations, how he missed his father, and he even dug deep and told her about the almost molestation situation with him. And he was like, "You're the only person, the first and last person that I'm going to tell that to." And she opened up about how her father doesn't spend time with her. It was a give and take type of situation, and I love that, that type of friendship. How, one person tells something and you're like, "Oh yeah, well me too. That okay, I hear your situation. I'm so sorry that that happened to you. I can understand because in my life this happened." And not to take over the story or the situation, but just as a part of bonding and sharing. And like I said earlier about the jail situation, gaining trust, how Monty had to gain the trust of the prisoners. He had to tell something about his junk in order for them to open up. So that was I like that aspect of the friendship, where you have to, it's give and take in a relationship. The church scene, thank God, hell has no sin that the blood of Jesus can't wash away. The church scenes were really good. I like those. The church scenes were awesome. And I like the fact that they had female preachers. They didn't show any male preachers. They showed female preachers, and the men were in the music ministry. So all the singers were men, except at the end. And then, but the preachers were women preachers. That was really good. I like that. Pissed off that Diggy was going to kill his friend, but I'm glad he saved him in the end. I know. I was so upset. I was like, okay, he had a dilemma though. Either you, I know. That was the very definition of a dilemma. He had to either kill his friend, or his mother and brother were going to be killed. I mean, oh, hold on. And that's not even the cold thing. The cold thing was Tone told him, "I need my money and his life." Like, he couldn't even get out of not paying him. He still wanted his money. Rules the streets. Money rules a lot of stuff, but he said, "I want my money, and you got to kill your best friend." So I was upset, but you could tell he didn't want to do it. You know how I could tell of course he didn't want to do it, but you know how I could see that he was feeling bad, and it was just on him so heavy. First of all, that scene where he was crying by himself, he was just crying, and I think they had like a church scene playing in the background. And then the other thing, when he came up to Jalen and Paris talking, he was being real rude to Jalen. He was like, "Man, get your girl," blah blah blah. He was trying to like pick a fight with them to kind of make himself angry. But then when Tone and Dredd pulled up, it got real. He was like, "Look, man, they want me to kill you. We gotta get out of here. We gotta run." So he was trying to work himself up to be upset enough to do it. But as soon as he saw them pull up, he was like, "Man, this is what's going on. We got to get out of here." Yeah, they had a really nice relationship. I mean, even when he was dying, Professor Ogilvy, even when he was dying, they were like, "I love you, man. Don't die." Jalen was like, "Man, we're going to go to church." But I mean, that just goes to show you how, if you have someone praying for you, if you have someone in your corner who's teaching you about God and everything, that's the thing that you think of when somebody is dying. You think about, okay, we're going to go to church, we're going to pray, we're going to be in this Bible, we're going to go to Bible study, man, please don't die on me. But they had a really nice friendship. He was like, that was like his brother in a sense. And he told him, "Tell Calvin I love him. Tell my little brother I love him." And they told each other that they love each other. And it was just, oh, that was so sad. But they did have a really cool friendship. Yeah. Professor Ogilvy did all right. He just did all right. I think all the acting was good. He said he did all right. He loved his friend. I know he did not want to do it. No. He wanted him dead because he thought his father killed his niece. Right. Yeah. I like Romeo too. And you know what's the funny thing? When I was just listening to it today because I wanted to remember, because it's been since last week since I saw it. So I was just listening to it while I was at work. And Romeo sounds so much like Master P. His voice it's so cute. It's so cute. His voice sounds so much like his father. I thought that was so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, I can hear it. You know, you could tell that he has gotten more polished than his father. But that's what you're supposed to do. When you grow up hard, your children are supposed to grow up better. So you could tell, you know, you could hear that he's very polished and his acting is very good. But that voice and that accent comes out a little teeny bit, but without watching him and just listening, I can hear that Master P voice and accent coming out. It was so cute. So that's all I really wanted to talk about. I think I covered all my stuff. And Karuchi, what about Karuchi? Karuchi was good. She was so cute. They play really good. See, that's why we gotta stay young. They are in their 20s, but they were playing high school kids. And Karuchi, is Karuchi almost 30? But she's so cute. Those little dimples. I mean, when she was singing, I know that wasn't really her singing, but that was she did really well. I didn't have any complaints about any of the acting. No, Master P could have had better and more lines. Okay. The fight between him and David Banner was weak. You wanted them to go at it. You said that fight was weak. You wanted them to go at it. You wanted some fisticuffs to be happening. But hold on. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. Listen. That argument between them, it wasn't no fight. It was you're right. It was weak. It was the argument, and it was quick too. But when Master P said, "Oh, I go back in for you," what? You gonna go back in jail over an argument with another dude who just got out of jail? That's crazy. But there are people like that. There are people who just got out of jail. And they will go right back in because somebody disrespected them or did something where they felt like they were disrespected. That was crazy. And then he turned right around and said, well, I'm just trying to get the respect of my son, or my son doesn't respect me because I want to do right. So he's trying to do right. But if you get him wrong one time, one quick minute, he's going back in for you. So yeah, that fight wasn't a fight, but I'm glad it wasn't because they're too grown for that. He does not have that thickness of the accent. Who Romeo doesn't, but you can hear little twinge of it. I know. I like Romeo and Karuchi together too. They made a cute couple. They made a really cute couple, and they were so supportive of each other. And he was like, you could see that he had become the man of his household because he saw her outside by herself, and he said, you know, you need to get back to the church. Let me walk you back to the church. You don't need to be out here by yourself. And you know, it was so cute and so sweet. You could see that he was already becoming a man on his own. And even when David Banner came to see him at the house when he first got out of jail, he told him, and don't be out here. He said something about don't be out here trying to save everybody else in the streets. And Romeo said, oh, I'm already past that. And I was like, oh, he raising himself out here, father. He's raising himself. So, you know, it kind of shows how if the father's not around, the young boy is going to do his best to grow up and be a man the best way he can with the help of his mother and whatever else, or whoever else is around him to give him some kind of guidance. What about Robin Givens? What about Robin Givens? Robin Givens was good. I like Robin Givens. I like Robin Givens, period. Like, I'm a Robin Givens fan. I think Robin Givens is beautiful. She got sex appeal. She did really well not playing bougie, because she wasn't bougie. She was like high class. Like, you could see how she had come up and she had a proper way about her, but she wasn't bougie. So she did very well. What you want to say about her? You liked her in that role? Yeah. Yeah, that's why Robin Givens so pissed, is because he was in prison. Or did I miss something? Oh, why was she so pissed? Yeah, because he was in jail. He wasn't at home taking care of that baby, trying to raise that child. And then she told him, I mentioned this earlier, she said, Aaron, you only call him because you want something. What you want? She was like, you need to talk to your son. And he was like, I don't want nothing. And then before they got off the phone, he was like, so if I get out of jail, can I come and stay with you? I was like, yep. He just wanted to see if he could lay up in her house when he got out of jail. But she called him on it. Because they've been together for years, because she knew him. She was like, you only call him because you want something. You need to talk to your son about staying off these streets. She was like, I think he's selling drugs. Yeah, she was like, this neighborhood is getting worse and worse. You got to talk to him. He was like, what am I supposed to do from jail? She was like, look, I don't know, player. You figure that thing out. This is our son, and we need to save him. But yeah, I think that's why she was so angry. And she was in love. Okay. She was in love with him. And he, so much so that he had a ring already ready for her. He was going to propose. I don't know if he proposed and then she gave the ring back when he went to jail. She gave the ring, somehow ended up with his mom, or if he was going to propose, but they were in love, So I think a combination of all of that is why she was so upset. She was kind of angry, and she had to do it all by herself. Excuse me. She had to do it all by herself. She slapped Romeo though. She was like, I've been here for you all this time. He woke up here for 1 minute and you gonna turn on me? I was like, oh, this black mama slapping her child. Oh my gosh. But yeah, she was like, get out of my house right now. But listen, I bet you she wasn't saying get out of my house when he got that settlement. Because they mentioned the settlement. Did y'all peep that? They were saying something about how he'll probably have some type of settlement because of the wrongful conviction or what have you. So they got married at the end. They were married at the end because he had on the ring too. I was looking because I think David Banner was cute. So I was like, "Ooh, is he married?" So yeah, he had the ring on at the end. And they were all nice and doing a little corny football in the house kind of thing. That was cute. She was still so mad at him even after he was she was bitter. They needed that little better father thing, because she was a little bitter, because Romeo in that better father scene program scene, Romeo said, I love you, Dad, and I forgive you. And so when he said that, he was cool. He was happy. He looked at Robin Givens. He was like, what about you? Do you forgive me? Because he really wanted, he was in love with her, even though, and it's not just because he was in jail or something. You could tell that they really did have genuine love for each other. And so all she told him, she said, whatever you do, she said, if you are really not about to be in his life, just stay away. She was like, don't come in and out and play with my child's life. She wasn't even thinking about herself. All she wanted to know was she just wanted to make sure that he was not going to play with Jalen's feelings. And then he proposed. That was so sweet. And she was like, yes. What you miss? You missed that part? Yes, David Banner is very intelligent too. He intelligent in real life? He looked like he is. He looks like he is. What part you missed, Sissy? You said you missed that. But yeah, at the Better Father program, everything kind of like came together and everybody forgave everyone. And he gave his life over to Christ. Aaron gave his life over to Christ, and she forgave him at that moment as well. But you know, when things happen, there's a breakup, you got to work through a whole lot of stuff. So you got to keep on forgiving. Like, oh, I forgive you for that part too. I forgive you for that part too. You know, it's not just one time you forgive. You forgive piecemeal forgiveness, you know. Because then, you know, in the middle of the night, you might look at him and be like, I forgot you did such and such. I'm going to have to work on that. Lord, help me work on that. Forgive him for that part. So, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the movie. Thank you for recommending the movie, Terry. So don't forget to like the video, y'all. And thank y'all for sharing it. I saw that, Chris, you shared it. Thank you. So let me know what we should watch next. I'll put out some good. It was a good movie overall. I liked it too. I enjoyed it. I was able to actually watch it twice and listen to it one time. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Very intelligent in real life. Okay, how old is he? Is he married? How old is David Banner? Y'all know? You missed the settlement part. Kenny said The Punisher. The Punisher? The Punisher, the movie? The Punisher? What's that on? Is that on Netflix? So you missed the part about the settlement? I don't remember who said something about it. It might have been on the news report. Remember when Robin Givens was in the house and the news came on saying that he was acquitted or he got out of jail or whatever? I think during that news report where they were still calling him A-Train, the gang leader, I think during that part, the news lady said something about settlements and stuff. Okay, next movie. Oh, it's a series. A joke. You're welcome. Okay. Well, yeah, let's talk about the next movie next time we get together on Facebook or something. Let me know what y'all want to talk about next. This was fun. Thank you guys for coming in. At the beginning of this video, I was just all by myself. I didn't care. I was just talking, y'all. You said it's good, but it has many episodes. Oh, The Punisher is good, but it got a whole lot of. Now, the reason why I didn't want to do TV is because people might be further along and then start talking about something that I haven't seen. I'm be mad. Or, yeah, but I can control what I tell y'all I'm going to see, but I can't control how many episodes you end up watching. So if I say we're going to watch episode 1 this week, and then people come on and they didn't watch all the way up to episode 3, and they start talking about, oh, it was so sad when the wife killed the husband, I'm be like, oh, I ain't know about no murder. So, he was just joking. Okay. But you like it, though. It's good. Maybe, I still might watch it if you say it's good. I'll watch it on the side. I don't think he's married. He should be in his 40s. Nope, too young. Good night. Too young. All right, y'all. Love y'all. I will talk to y'all later, and I'll put out some little options of movies on Facebook, and then y'all can pick, or you can put down a different one. All right. Good night.